Well, we're getting ready for round 7 of the Ford Racing Australian Formula Ford Championship, and the championship is hanging in the balance. Will Davison taking his 6th pole position in a row. Amazing effort from the youngster. Dave Clark from Stuart Costera, 2 drivers from WA, Valio Phillips, Michael Caruso, Chris Gilmore and Clark Quinn will start out of 16. Big field of Formula Fords here, getting ready for what will be a critical round. Will Davison, in fact, can win the championship here. He's already taken pole position, but 2 wins would wrap it up for the youngster as we get ready for racing. Away they go. Will Davison gets a good start, but Marcus Marshall, brilliant start from the outside of the front row. If he can carry that speed into turn 1, he'll sweep across in front of Davison. As he does, the 2 RF01 Van Diemen's lead this big field through turn 1 up toward turn 2. Looks like a nice clean start to this critical championship round as we welcome to the commentary box former Australian Formula Ford champion Cameron McConville. The nerves must be high here, Cam, because the championship's hanging in the balance.
Absolutely, no doubt about that, Mark, but you've got to say Marcus Marshall is the surprise of this round. He's got into the lead quite comfortably, or just as we say that, Davison takes it back off him, but it really is quite critical to get a good start here. There's a few overtaking opportunities, but if he can get in front and break that toe, like Davison will probably trying to do now, you can get a bit of a gap early on. Marcus
Marshall could be the joker in the pack here. The only men who can win this championship now are the men who have dominated it right throughout the season. Oh, problems here. A little bit further back in the pack, but it looks like everyone getting through the infield section cleanly. As I was saying, this battle is down between Will Davison and Will Power. Davison leading, and you can see Power there in 3rd place. So he's going to have to push Davison hard here. As a result of that terrible round that Will Power had at Oran Park, he's now 40 points behind Davison, and that's a critical buffer in the championship. I guess psychologically that'd be a help for Davison too. Let's have a look at an incident earlier on.
Well, just really ran wide there, Mark, at turn 1, and did the right thing, not trying to bring the car back onto the road in a hurry, because that would have ended in a spin. And there's another one at the end of the back straight, car 53, Kent Quinn.
And the Vector MG96. He's in big trouble down there. Hopefully he can get back into the racing. Look at the bottom of your screen. There's the order. Davison, Marcus Marshall. Marcus Marshall really has done an outstanding job in getting his act together this year. Started off slowly, but it seems ever since he joined up with Michael Ritter, who prepares Davison's car, he's really started to find some speed. This seems to be the only team that really understands how to get a lot of speed out of this latest chassis. Quinn in trouble again. We saw him stuck a few moments ago. Now he's got the rear wheel spinning, and he's well and truly beached that in the kitty litter.
Well, it looks like it's actually the same part of the track. Just ran wide onto the marbles, and it is quite dusty on the outside of the circuit there, so he got the rear tyres onto the dusty part of the bitumen, spun him around. Unfortunately, just rolled back a little too far there, but that may bring out the safety car, because he is in a position where someone could end up as part of his front spoiler there.
It's a pretty dangerous part of the circuit. We see a lot of cars come off the end of the back straight on turn 3. Another incident.
That looks like Hart Mason there, just running wide, so he's having a red-hot go. He actually qualified 10th, so Hart's wrapped with that, perhaps just using a bit too much of the road.
Marshall's on the scene to try and push Kent Quinn's car back onto the racing line. That's all it needed, just a little push to get those wheels back onto the hard stuff, and Kent gives him a wave. Thank them for his assistance, but he's dropped way back. Here's the battle, though, further up the order. It's Will Power, Agland. Jamie Whincup wants a slice of this action. He slithers his way between those 2 cars on the infield section. So Whincup pushing hard. Agland goes back, just drops a couple of wheels out on the dirt, shows how hard he's trying. But Will Power can see this championship slipping away from him. Will Davison, the only other man in contention for the championship, is bolting away with this one. So Will Power really fighting a tough battle. It must be hard psychologically, Cameron, when a driver's in that situation, just to feel that slipping away from you.
Oh, look, totally, and he has been struggling the last couple of rounds, but he just has to consolidate, and better off being runner-up in the championship than obviously dropping out of the top 3 positions. But Jamie Whincup's giving him a real hurry up here, and I'd have to say that Jamie's come on in this second half of the season, and you'd have to put your money on Jamie being a title contender in 2002.
Wow, look at this. Look at the speed as he punches out of turn 2. He carried a lot of corner exit speed there and used a bit of the aerodynamic draft to take advantage. Agland did a copybook move. So Will Power's lost 2 places in the length of the back straight, but he's fighting back now on the outside as they head into the midfield section once again. You You can see how evenly matched these cars are. 3 different chassis. The McGale, the French-built car, Agland in the Australian Spectrum, and of course the locally modified RF94 Van Diemen, which they call a Stealth, driven by Will Power, which has done such an amazing job against the latest chassis in the country. And here they are running nose to tail, 1-2, the RF01 Van Diemen. State of the art in Formula 4. Look at Nick Agland now. Up the inside of Jamie Whincup. Beautiful move. Whincup gave him just enough room to avoid tangling wheels there, and Will Power locked in this one, looking for the slightest mistake from these two. What a battle.
Well, Will Power's actually in a great spot there because, whoa, nearly touches the back of the Van Diemen there, but he's really in a good spot here. If he can get a good run onto the back straight, he needs to just stay out wide, get a really nice flow, and he can pull out of that slipstream like we saw Whincup do on the previous lap, and he could still end up in 3rd position.
So there's anything in this. Look how close Will Power is. You could throw a blanket over the 3 when you look at them in end view. Here's Will Davison. He's not running away with this one, though. Marcus Marshall's keeping him honest. Look at the gap, though, that breakaway pack has on the battle for 3rd. Nick Agland, Jamie Whincup and Will Power. Not only fighting for position here, but fighting for the championship as well. He cannot let Davison get too far up the road, as Davison could win this one here this afternoon. 2 wins will lock it up. Down through the midfield section once again, Nick Agland. These guys very well placed in the championship. Agland 6th coming into this one. Jamie Whincup 4th. So Will Power's got some pretty hot competition there. Final lap. Out of the final turn, hard under brakes. Here comes Will Power. He was setting that one up for a while. Sitting in behind those two, but Will Davison takes the checkered flag. Brilliant victory. And Marcus Marshall, the big improver toward the end of 2001, pushing him hard all the way. Agland took 3rd. And a real close one there between Will Power and Jamie Whincup. And Justin Cotter comes in behind that bunch. So Will Davison's doing it right. He's taken pole position, victory in race 1. If he can win race 2, he'll wrap up the 2001 Formula 4 Championship. Catch that race later on in the program. Will Davison just 0.2 of a second over Marcus Marshall. How close do you like it? Big gap back to Nick Agland, Will Power and Jamie Whincup in the battle for 3rd. Justin Cotter, Dave Clark and Andrew Jones rounded out the top 8. Ty Hanger and Ash Lowe in the top 10. Stewie Costera a little bit further back than he'd like to be in 11th spot. Hart Mason, Vayo Phillips, Michael Caruso, Chris Gilmore and Kurt Wimmer back with the winners after this.
You led that one all the way, but gee, the local really pushed it, didn't he?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Marcus and I have been, really on the pace all weekend, and we didn't work together, but he didn't do anything silly. He really used his head, and both these cars were so fast, and I just dragged him along, and we knew if we could just get away from the rest of the guys, it'd just make life a lot easier.
Well, now, Marcus, we'll move over to you, mate. Now, that must have been frustrating, being so close to Will and knowing that you don't want to have a lunge at him because you might take him out of the championship.
Yeah, it's a really hard position to be in, Grant, and so I was a little bit conservative coming into doing so well this part of the championship, so yeah, just being a little bit conservative.
We've got some great in-car shots coming up from on board Will Power's car, but here's Will Davison.
Will Davison, the championship can end right here. All you need to do is finish in the top 3 if Will Power, your main rival, wins, but that's obviously a comfortable position to be in.
It certainly is, but it's going to be a long race. So many things can happen, and I'm just focusing on bringing it home, certainly in the top 3, and keeping my wheels clean, and hopefully I can drive away with it, but we'll just see how it goes.
How are the nerves?
Oh, they're certainly there, but I'm pumped up. I want this one.
He certainly does, and that's the mission. Finish in the top 3 for Will Davison. He starts from pole as a result of winning race 1. Marcus Marshall alongside those two running away from the pack. Ty Hanger and Ash Lowe rounded out the top 10. Stewie Costera, Hart Mason, all the way down to Kurt Wimmer in 16th place. So, as we said, the championship in the balance this weekend. Round 7 of an 8-round Ford Racing Australian Formula 4 Championship. Will Davison really has his sights set on this one. Brilliant start too. Boy, he got away from pole position very, very well. As we go to our overhead shot, big field of Formula Fords heading down to turn 1. And this is going to be the drive of his life, Will Davison, because he can actually wrap this one up in this race regardless of where Will Power finishes. So, Cameron McConville, pressure's on.
No doubt about that, but I can tell you just really Will Davison, you only got to hear his voice there. He's very confident. He knows he's got the fastest race car out there. And look, already he's not driving defensively, but there's a battle down the back straight, though, side by side at the end.
It's a great view from on board Will Power's car. You can see Agland attacking under brakes. Will Power takes advantage, follows him through that gap. So now Power finds himself to do anything about this championship if Will Davison finishes in the top 3. They go to our cherry picker shot high above the infield section, and you can see Jamie Whincup there challenging on the inside of Marcus Marshall. He goes very wide. The Gold Coast driver did an outstanding job in race 1, but now he finds himself shuffled down the pack a little bit.
I was just going to say that Marcus Marshall is doing a great job. He's probably the form driver of this round. But, whoa, that looks like Davison.
It is. Wow. Now there's an indication of the pressure telling here. Will Davison, the opening lap, he had a bit of a gap on the field. Came in too deep under brakes into turn 6, ran really wide, managed to keep it on the bitumen. And Will Power just saw that opportunity open up. It's not going to be enough, though. He really needs some problems here for Davison if he's going to take the battle to the final round. Look at Davison. Maximum attack up the inside. Brilliant move. I think he's actually got past.
He may well have got past there. There was a little bit of a gap. Will Power must have had a slow round, and look at that. That's Jamie Whincup being squeezed 2 wheels on the grass. Didn't quite go through. Davison shut the door on him. That was fairly cheeky, but fortunately they didn't touch wheels, and he's got past, as you can see, and now Will Power having a look.
Can you believe the speed of Davison, how quickly he recovered from that moment in the space of half a lap? He'd swept past Will Power. And this absorbing battle here with Jamie Whincup, Justin Cotter in there as well. So the Formula Ford action coming thick and fast as we look out the back of Will Power's car. And you can see how hard he's pushing there, Cam. A wheel dropping off the dirt. Here's another guy who's pushing too hard.
That looks like Ash Lowe, I think there. We saw, yeah, I think it is having a bit of an off, just a harmless one.
Tie hanger. So they're spearing off in all sorts of directions. He's actually broken his fiberglass nose cone there. That shouldn't affect him if he can keep going. Here's the battle, though. What a ripper between Marcus Marshall. Oh, problems here for Kent Quinn. He really has been in the wars this afternoon.
Spent a fair bit of time off the road, but just going back to Will Davison too, Mark, you can just really see the confidence. He has to try and finish in the top 3, and let's look at Kent just running wide there, then turned the wheel probably a little too quickly to get back on the road, which resulted in the spin. Fortunate not to actually hit the tyres there, parked on the inside of the track. And a stop-go penalty.
Now, we're hearing from race control, that was for a jumped start. Nick Aglen was judged to have jumped the start. And isn't that a punishing penalty? Look at how much track position he's lost. He goes right to the back of the field.
And fairly late calling that one too. We've run a few laps now, so it's fairly, very late call. Perhaps he ignored the indication to come into the pits, ignore the flag, I'm not sure, but very late in the race to have a stop-go for a jump start.
Look at this battle between Jamie Whincup and Justin Cotter. Jamie Whincup's done a sensational job this year considering his rookie status. And he's going to be one to watch in 2002 should he tackle the Formula 4 Championship once again. Back on board with Will Power. He will just have his fingers and toes and everything crossed that some problem befalls Will Davison if he wants to keep this championship alive.
Well, as I was saying, Will Davison, just plenty of confidence on board, and that's the difference when you know you've got to go out and win a championship like that. He threw it down the inside, and psychologically he had it over Will Power. Will Power didn't shut the door. He knew he was the fastest guy on the track and let him through, and now he's got a comfortable buffer again, and it just shows that he is really doing it easily this weekend as far as speed over every other car in the field, except for, say, Marcus Marshall, who's now had to do it the hard way coming back through the field.
Marcus Marshall, 24 years of age from the Gold Coast. He's a project engineer during the week. And on the weekends he gets out and thrashes these race cars. He gets a great run out of turn 2. He goes side by side with Will Power, punches past the VIP pet foods machine, locks him in under brakes as we go on board with Power. Brilliant shots from the trackside cameras. Jamie Whincup got through as well. So Power now tries the under and over trick, gets a good exit out of turn 3. Side by side with the McGale as they head up toward brakes in turn 4. But Whincup well positioned on the inside. So Will Davison, you can see he's giving it everything. And Will Power, his main adversary in the title chase, trying just as hard, but a bit further back in the pack than he'd like to be.
And his car does look a little taily too. You can see him working the steering wheel on the exit to the corner. So perhaps just suffering a little bit of oversteer in that car. There it is there, a little bit of correction in the mid part of the corner. But quite nice coming onto the straight, but in Formula Ford you've got to get all that power to the ground to be fast.
Bit of a battle happening further back in the pack. Clark Quinn and the yellow machine there. Here comes Bayo Phillips hard under brakes. Sneaks up the inside of Chris Gilmore. So So battles happening right up and down through the field. Good run by Phillips. He actually gets an excellent run out of turn 6. He's going to challenge now Quinn as they come down the main straight. Quinn wants to argue. They're almost side by side as they come. They're 3 wide now. And Quinn on the inside. Oh, how close is that? Contact between the wheels. Quinn manages to hang on. That must have been a hard stopper.
Well, it was high speed, and speaking of high speed, now look at Will Power pull out of the slipstream under brakes. Look at the bumps here. It's quite bumpy part of the circuit. He can probably pull this off if he stays too wide around the outside of Whincup, because that will give him the line for the left-hander at the end of this straight, and it looks like he is going to pull it off.
How close do you like it? Will Davison running away with this one, but this battle for third is an absolute thriller between Will Power and Jamie Whincup. Whincup just 18 years of age, driving the championship winning car used by Luke Yilden last year, the former Australian karting champion, and really learning how to cut his teeth in Formula Ford competition. But this man, Will Davison, running away with this one. Marcus Marshall in second. This absorbing battle for third between Will Power and Jamie Whincup continues as we go back on board the VIP Pet Foods machine. Good places to pass, Cam.
Well, this is one of them, but he's probably not quite close enough, so he needs to just follow him through turn 1 and get a really good exit, keep the momentum going, because the back straight is where he's going to try and pull it off, exactly where Will Power got past him the previous lap. So you can see Mick Porter probably lost a little bit of speed, using all the road there. Well, looks like they both did. You can hear the revs change on board Will. And there it is now. Look at the slipstream, pulls out of the draft. He has to go all the way around the outside, but as we know, and very deep under brakes, he may even get past him before the corner.
Just manages to tuck inside, so Will Power has to give way. That's a very deceptive corner, that turn 2. The cars are so heavily loaded up, it's quite fast, and you see a lot of guys get it wrong, dropping wheels over the edge.
And there's a very big bump right in the middle of your braking there, so that can also upset the balance of the car, but that gave you the best indication of what a slipstream can do. You could just see the car pick up power, nearly like he hit a turbo button, and that was just the Will Power's car putting a big hole in the air, got a really good toe, pulled out and made the pass.
Speaking of turbo buttons, this man's had the turbo on all year. Will Davison doing a brilliant job here. Marcus Marshall still in second. So the first and second stays static, but here is our new 2001 Ford Racing Australian Formula Ford champion. He's done it. Will Davison, a deserving winner of the championship. He's absolutely cleaned up at Queensland Raceway this weekend. Took his 6th pole position in a row. 2 race wins. There is Graham Ritter, the man who builds the engines for Will Davison's team. And plenty of slaps on the back for the Valvoline Cummins crew. A deserving victory in 2001. 3.4 seconds. What an amazing performance over Marcus Marshall. One of the big improvers of 2001. Jamie Whincup and Will Power fought over third. It was a great battle, but Whincup eventually coming out on top. Justin Cotter 5th, Andrew Jones 6th, Stuart Costera and Dave Clark, the 2 drivers from WA, fill out 7th and 8th spot. Ash Lowe and Hart Mason 9th and 10th, Michael Caruso, Nick Agland, Vallejo Phillips, Clark Quinn. A great battle in the Formula Fords. We'll be back to talk to the winner. All hail the new Formula Ford champion for 2001, Will Davison. He's down in pit lane with Grant Denyer.
Well, Will Davison, you join now an elite group of motor racing champions. You've taken this Formula Ford championship down to the wire. Well done. What a fantastic way to take it out, but a heart-stopping moment running wide.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, we went out in the wet this morning, so I had some rear brake bias, which certainly caught me out, but regained myself.
This is an important time right now, isn't it?
Oh, it certainly is. You know, this championship means so much to me. I mean, we've worked so hard. I'd like to thank my dad so much. We've put this thing together this year with Michael Ritter, who's just put in so many hours work, and the car's just been immaculate all year. We've never had a problem. You know, we've got a elite group of people, you know, Valvoline Cummins Repco. Thanks very much to Gary Rogers, who supported us. All my other sponsors, New Life though, Horner Recruitment. There's been so many people, and oh, I can't tell you how happy I am.
Yeah, I think only Will Davison would know just how happy he is and how happy he feels after a dominant victory in the Formula Ford Championship. He cannot be beaten now with 1 round remaining at Sandown Park. Will Power is currently second. Jamie Whincup, the final to come at Sandown at the end of the year.